Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees. It is October 9th. Our first order of business, of course, is the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight will be led by a student from Ellen School, Nadia Patel. Per her mom, her favorite school subject is science. She's in school band, participates in after-school programs, mad science, and tinker work. She's also a member of the Indian organization and does Kathak Indian dance. She has traveled to India, Puerto Rico, Cancun, Punta Cana, Dubai, Bahamas, and many U.S. locations. Her mom is Pina, her dad is Dharmesh, and she's here tonight on a non-school day, which is really even more impressive. And I'd like to have her come to the front and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. That's on Columbus Day. Karen, may I have roll call, please?
Trustee Francis.
Here.
Trustee Model.
Here.
Trustee Pavesa.
Here.
Trustee Mattel.
Here.
Trustee Snyder. Trustee Scalpa.
Here.
Mayor Straub.
Here. Before we open up to residents' comments, I'd like to take a moment to make an announcement that this week, just a couple days ago, we lost a former trustee of Burr Ridge, Dan Pallett. Died, we believe, of a heart attack of natural causes. He passed away on 10/8/17, which should be yesterday. He was a trustee from 1997 to 2005. He was on the E911 board from 1989 to 1996. And in his honor, I'd just like to have a moment of silence. Okay, thank you very much. And next, we have residents' comments. Are there any residents who would like to address the board at this time? Okay, seeing no one, move on to the consent agenda. All items are listed with an asterisk are considered routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed. Under minutes, we have 5A, approval of regular board meeting of September 25th, 2017. B, receive and file Veterans Memorial Committee meetings of April 27th, May 10th, June 28th, July 27th, and August 30th. 5C, receive and file draft plan commission meeting of October 2nd, 2017. Under ordinances, we have approval of an ordinance granting a variation as per the Burr Ridge Village Center PUD for approval of a sign larger than 50 square feet. That's S05 2017 755 Village Center Drive, otherwise known as Kohler. Under ordinances, we have 6B, approval of an ordinance amending the Burr Ridge sign ordinance, section 50 of the Burr Ridge Municipal Code to remove content-based regulations of non-commercial signs, S03 2017, a sign ordinance amendment. Under resolutions, we have adoption of a resolution approving final plat of subdivision and granting variations from the subdivision ordinance for the Ballack subdivision located at 7500 Drew Avenue. B, adoption of resolution approving final plat the Glabowskis, Dlegopolskis, 93rd Place re-subdivision at 10 South 639 Jackson Street. Under considerations, we have 8B, approval of request for raffle license for St. Alphonsus, St. Patrick's School, and hosting facility license for Chicago Marriott Southwest Burr Ridge for its gala fundraising event on January 20th, 2018, with ticket sales between October 19th, 2017, and January 19th, 2018. Under C, we have approval of recommendation to award contract for 2017 concrete replacement contract. D, approval of recommendation to award contract for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning otherwise known as HVAC systems, maintenance at the village facilities. E, approval of a vendor list in the amount of $247,474.06 for all funds, plus $199,317.30 for payroll, for a grand total of $446,791.36, which includes special expenditures of $92,353.79 to Illinois Treasurer for German Church Road sidewalk grant, and $62,796 to HD Supply Waterworks Limited for census water meter, radio units, and touchpads. May I have a motion to approve the following items on the consent agenda? That will be 5A, B, and C, 6A and B, resolutions 7A and B, and considerations 8, B, C, D, and E.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Skiappa?
Yes.
Trustee Snyder?
Yes.
Trustee Mattel?
yes,
Trustee Paveza?
Yes.
Trustee Model?
Yes.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
6-0.
Motion passes 6-0. Under considerations, we have consideration of Plan Commission recommendation to approve an R5 planned unit development, Z14 2017, located at 11650 Bridewell Drive, made by McNaughton Development, otherwise known as Lakeside Points.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a recommendation from the Plan Commission recommending approval of an amendment to the Lakeside Point Planned Unit Development to permit an R5 planned unit development on 19.76 acres with 44 single-family detached homes. The board will recall that in 2016, the original PUD was approved. That was on 22.5 acres with 52 single-family homes. This amended PUD does not include 2.7 acres located at the corner of Bridewell and Marriott Drive. They also discovered subsequent to the original PUD approval that there is a 100-foot building setback recorded in the covenants from Commonwealth Avenue, which also affected the plan. Those are the two primary differences between the 2016 PUD and the proposed PUD, the reduction in the overall land area, the reduction in the number of units, and the imposition of the 100-foot building setback from Commonwealth Avenue. The primary concern at the public hearing was the lack of sidewalks in the original proposal. After discussion with the Plan Commission, the developer agreed to modify the setbacks and the sidewalks on the inner loop of the street, and as a result they were able to add a sidewalk on the inner loop with a 5-foot parkway and a 5-foot sidewalk. Subsequent to the hearing, the petitioner did submit a revised site plan which was included in your packet. I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding the Plan Commission's recommendation, and also Commissioner Praxmayer is present as the representative of the Plan Commission.
Are there any questions of the village administrator or any additional explanation need to be needed by the petitioner? Okay. Trustee Francis?
Yes, a couple of questions. This is the revised site plan, Doug?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for asking the petitioner to update this to show the sidewalks. I also asked him to show Commonwealth Avenue and 73rd Place. Back when the weekly proposition was approved, there was a connection from the pathway to Commonwealth. There was also a connection from the pathway to 73rd Place as well, right near where the spillway is. And I don't see that in this revised version or in the previous version, right there. So would the petitioner be willing to make that connection like in the previous proposal? Okay. And are you improving the north-south pathway that is along the east boundary of, are you improving this portion of the pathway to connect it further south?
Currently, there is no pathway in that location, but we will be adding it.
You will be adding it?
Yes.
So you will be improving. There's no paved pathway?
Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Can we hit this?
All right. Question of staff. The this parcel in the, there's a consideration that going before the Park District for land and/or cash donation of the park, of a possible park. Is that parkland, if it is donated as parkland, is that included in the overall density calculations? Parkland?
The density calculations that have been provided today do include that park space.
Again, a question of the petitioner, if, so you would leave it up to the Park District then to lay that out and also to determine what parking would be for the park users, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And they have a meeting on Wednesday night to just do an introduction of the plan and start that discussion.
Has there been any preliminary indication from the park as to which way they may go, Park District?
No, I did talk to the executive director of the Pleasantdale Park District, and he just informed me that their board was going to take the matter up and decide.
But the petitioner doesn't matter either way, is that correct?
That's it. We think it'd be a nice amenity, but if they decide to take the cash, then we'll pay the cash donation.
If this board recalls back when the Savoy Club was developed, it was a long battle to get the Park District to accept the land in lieu of the cash. Cash is much easier to take. It solves a lot of problems. That's when our park board, district board had a health club, which they know, a money draining health club, which they no longer own. They finally bailed out from that. So hopefully they'll take the land, because once the land is
Gone, it's gone.
it's gone, it's gone. Okay.
Trustee Francis, I'd just like to add to that, if I may.
Please.
This is very similar to what occurred with Savoy Club.
Yes.
And just for your information, the public's information, the key to that one was residents in the area lobbying the Park District and saying, we want to park here. So
That was a big key.
everybody is
Former
feels
trustee
strongly
Maneri
about it.
spearheaded that
Right,
effort.
Exactly.
And as well as residents of Greenbrier and Burr Oaks Glen South. One other question, can you comment, Doug, on this density? How does this density of this site plan relate to the density that was proposed by the weekly homes?
It's comparable, slightly lower density. I believe it's 2.3 for the weekly Lakeside Point, and this is 2.25 units per acre.
And you explain to myself and the residents how the detention areas will work. Are they wet bottom, dry bottom?
Our stormwater facility is actually going to be held in the lake. We'll have two wetland areas that'll be a volume control storage, temporary storage that's required under the MWRD requirements.
Okay, so those are you call them bio-detention areas?
Correct, yeah.
And are those wet bottomed or dry?
They're primarily dry with wetland plantings in them.
Okay. Very good. That's all the questions I had. Thank you.
I'm sorry, also, can you do us a favor and introduce yourself, tell us your name and your title?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. My name's John Berry. I'm with McNaughton Development, 11 South 220 Jackson Street.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion or questions of the petitioner or village administrator? Okay. I have a motion to approve 8A.
So moved. Second?
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
Question on the motion. Would it include the additional items that the petitioners agreed to, the completion of the pathway around the lake and the extension of and a connection to 73rd Place?
It already does, doesn't it? Or-
The motion should include the 73rd Street connection, because that was not part of the plan. Yeah, the other part was, so
All right.
Okay.
that's agreed to. Well,
It's not shown as being finished on the drawing, that's all.
yeah.
And
the
including the
other
revised
drawings-
site plan?
The engineering drawings showed it as being finished. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with an ordinance with the final details, but
Okay.
we'll add
Right.
those details.
Thank you.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Snyder?
Yes.
Trustee Matala? Yes. Trustee Baveza?
Yes.
Trustee Model?
Yes.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
Trustee Scalpa?
Yes.
6-0.
Motion passes 6-0, and I just want to thank McNaughton Development and who have jumped through all kinds of hoops. It was plan after plan, discussion after discussion. We look forward to a very amenable build-out of this. It's a huge project. It's probably the largest project in Burr Ridge since probably Savoy Club, and then even more units. What was last time? Anybody remember how many times we had 44 units being built one time?
I think the last one would have been Savoy Club. It was 52 units. Savoy Club is a little bit.
Gotcha. Well, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone's support, and we're going to build a great product for Burr Ridge. Thank you.
Okay, next, under F, other considerations for announcement, deliberation, and/or discussion only. No official action will be taken. Comments? Residents' comments? Any residents like to address the board at this time?
I'm sorry, I lost track, Mayor, as we're...
You could, if you have any comments, you could also mention their number 10.
Perfect. We'll cover it then.
I'm not,
I can hold it till
sometimes I'm not sure what all the restrictions are around that, but there's 2 opportunities. So you already missed your opportunity.
I'll wait for 10. Thank you.
Any residents that like to address the board this time? Okay. Now, under reports and communications from village officials, are there any village officials that like to make any comments? Trustee Model?
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2, I guess, issues. I hope you'll indulge me. One is some clarification on some confusion I'm having about a communication we had amongst Trustee Francis and myself and Doug earlier, and then also hopefully propose 2 solutions so we can avoid confusion in the future. Am I okay to proceed?
Well, there's actually on the second, I know there's, I think that no real discussion. It would be more of a request for information or future topic on the topic of the doing some restrictions on noise levels on Sunday mornings. Is that something that he could discuss, tee up now for next meeting?
I don't think he wants to talk about the substance of construction hours on Sunday, or do you?
I just would like to tee it up. Hopefully, I believe you're looking into these things, and I would like that the board review maybe the regulations in the future meeting.
We're doing that.
Perfect.
We'll put that on a future agenda.
Great.
Perfect.
2 weeks or 4 weeks.
Perfect. My other solution/issue, I guess it's one and the same. It's that, we received, and you all received an email from a resident on the 3rd, and I was out of town on vacation myself, and we all are busy, and none of us replied to it, which it's unfortunate, but it happens. And the resident didn't have staff on there, and that's not their fault or anything, but it was good that they brought a concern to us. So I came back from vacation. I'm a little jet lagged, so I've been up late at night, and he had responded again, saying, "Hey, is anyone going to respond to my email?" Now, I thought, well, somebody should let him know that we are hear your concerns. We received your email. So I replied back last night in what I thought was just a very thank you for your concern, and we appreciate you bringing it to our attention. We'll have staff look into it and get back with you. And I said, I'll ask staff to brief us on these facts for the future, what we just talked about the regulations. And I don't see there was anything wrong with what I did, and I did reply to all of you. And I did that intentionally. And in my email, I put, please don't reply to this email so we don't violate the Open Meeting Act. And I believe I was on very good grounds in doing that. I think it was a courtesy to the resident to let them know that, hey, we're responsive to you. And I think it let all of us know that, hey, somebody responded to them and no need to be concerned. It let our staff know, hey, take action on this. And the resident replied that he appreciated the response. Now, where I'm getting confused was when this morning Trustee Francis emailed me and the mayor and the staff and said that I had violated the Open Meeting Act, or suggested that I might have, which I'm absolutely sure I did not, and we've since gotten clarification from the lawyer that I did not, that it was perfectly good grounds, especially that I made a disclaimer, please don't anyone else reply to this is a one-way communication. So I was puzzled by what the point of that was, especially given that after sending that, you, trustee, immediately responded to the resident in your own manner, copying all of us. So if you were concerned about an Open Meeting Act violation, I don't understand why you engaged in what you were concerned with yourself immediately thereafter. And then you proceeded to tell me that I had misled the resident, which I disagree with entirely. I think I gave the resident an answer,
I think I told the resident we would look into it, but I don't think there was anything misleading in that email. And I want to work constructively with all of you. I'm not here to have fights. I'm not here to bring my ego or my attitude. I'm trying to be a solution person. And if you want to criticize me constructively, I appreciate that, and I'm willing to work with you in a collaborative manner. But I didn't see constructive criticism there, and I'm not quite sure what the point of your criticism was. So I was hoping to clarify that, and I was hoping that we could agree on a policy going forward or a procedure going forward for how to handle when a resident emails all of us as a group.
There's a couple of issues flying around here. One is this the sort of discussion that normally is covered during a closed session, or is this okay for discuss now?
It would not be eligible for closed session.
Okay. And the second is as far as the option for a solution, that would be also, would that be probably following up your research that you're going to do first as to what as part of how to react? Because here's one of the problems. You have anytime a resident sends an email to me and to the village administrator and copies everybody, it's like nobody's in charge, but everybody's in charge. And this is one case everybody thought somebody else was going to do something. So I think one of the things the spirit of Trustee Model is trying to say is that maybe we should have some type of process so we can avoid this in the future.
That's correct.
So that, if first person responds, then all hands off or off the deck or something, right? And then, or maybe on a monthly basis we rotate responsibility for responding to blanket ones, or if there's any type of, or if that sort of thing should be discussed again after your research, or if there really is a solution to that. So, Trustee.
In the past, when these things have happened, the mayor and the village administrator always answered the resident and emailed us a copy of their answer. We would only get involved if it got to the point where the resident was completely unsatisfied with either the mayor or the village administrator's response. But in the past, just so we wouldn't get into a problem, whenever that has happened, it's always, as long as I've been here, the village administrator and the mayor took care of the answer, not the individual trustees.
Okay. Apparently not. Actually, I had responded immediately, but I didn't do the reply to all for fear of the Open Meetings Act, and never know quite sure what's too much, too little. But what I probably should have done is then blind copy everyone and let you know that the ball was rolling. So that could have been that could be one solution. So.
To me, it's kind of like, we talked about baseball, or you call the ball that's coming to you, and then everybody else knows not to run at it and knock heads, right? So in my opinion, again, like you said, Mayor, you had responded to his second email immediately, but we didn't know about it. And it was his second email. We all missed the gentleman's first email, apparently. And he didn't have staff on there, so staff wasn't watching it. But again, this was an unusual circumstance. But my point is, I'm happy to defer to however we want to handle it, and we can talk about it maybe in our goal setting. But my point was that I don't think I did anything wrong, and I don't think I misled anyone. And I think if we want to work collaboratively together, I hope we can be more supportive going forward of each other on these type of things.
Yeah, point well taken. Okay. Trustee Francis?
There were no criticisms. All I did was ask a simple question. If your response violated the Open Meetings Act. I've always been taught by staff to err on the conservative side and not reply all. And that's what I was following. That's why I raised the question. Criticism was a question. And I asked staff to respond, and they did.
And your follow-up email said that I misled the resident and I was engaging in a discussion and I violated the Open Meeting Act, which is exactly not what I did. That email troubled me.
This discussion is not appropriate for the board level. I don't want to waste the residents' time and the board trustees' time with this discussion. Be happy to discuss it with you one-on-one.
Anything else?
No further comments. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay. Thank you. Any non-residents that would like to address the board this time? I feel like I'm missing something.
We have closed session.
Yeah, I know we do, but actually, I did want to point out that one of our residents was featured in Hinsdale Magazine on the front cover. Just thought I'd, the Bull coach, Coach Hoiberg, was on the front page. Just got it today, and it's always nice when Burbridge residents are featured like that. So, welcome, Coach.
He's a Burridge resident.
He is, yes. Yes, it was actually a house built by the Garber Construction, who owns County Line Square. And it was actually in North Burridge, almost to Hinsdale, but not quite.
Well, the Hinsdale Magazine misquoted when he originally moved to this area that he was a Hinsdale resident.
That's true. I seem to recall that. Well, those houses are close. So, we're good. Well, may I have a motion to go into closed session, discuss the following items. A, approval of closed session minutes of September 25th, 2017, and discussion regarding sale or lease of village-owned property. Motion?
So moved? Second.
Motion second. And we are officially in closed session.